at Anagram Park, and I am very privileged to be with Payal, Karishma, Ganesh, and Purnima. And today we're going to discuss a little bit about domestic arbitration and the domestic arbitration institution. I'll just do a quick round of introduction on who is representing which institution, and then we'll get the session started.
You want us to introduce ourselves and the institution, Mayuri?
Sorry, Ganesh, could you say that again?
Do you want us to introduce which institutions we are from? That's what you said just now?
Yes, that would be wonderful. Ganesh, do you want to get started?
Okay, fine. Hi, I'm Ganesh Chandru. I'm a practicing lawyer as well as arbitrator. I'm a partner with Dua Associates. And I'm a part-time member of the India International Arbitration Center, IIAC. And I'll be happy to answer specific questions about IIAC as a national arbitral institution. Over to you,
Thank
Payal.
you so much. Payal?
Yeah, hi, I'm Payal Chawla. I'm a practicing lawyer in New Delhi. I am the founder of the country's only all-women law firm, that is Just Contractors. We specialize in commercial litigation and arbitration. I also have the privilege to sit on the board of directors of the Nani Palkiwala Arbitration Center, also known as the NPAC.
Wonderful, Payal. Karishma, do you want to go next?
Thank you. I'm Karishma Vora. I'm a barrister at 39 Essex Chambers and have been in London for the last 15 years, although I started life at the Bombay High Court as a counsel. And I practice mainly commercial litigation, but involving cross-border disputes and international commercial arbitration. And I sit on the International Advisory Committee for the Indian Council of Arbitration. It's a FICCI body which was established in 1965. So I think I can safely say one of the oldest arbitration institutions in India.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Purnima, do you want to lastly introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, thanks. My name is Purnima Kamble. I'm a senior partner with Fox Mandal and Associates LLP. I look after the Telangana and Andhra practice. Fox Mandal needs no introduction. So I'm here representing IAMC, one of the premier arbitral institutions based out of Hyderabad. I would say we are pretty young, but flourishing very well and doing great work. So it's been established in 2021. I'm a member of the steering committee and I'm representing in that capacity.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Purnima. So let's just get started with no further ado. I've just divided this session into four main segments. And in the first three, we're going to get to know the institutions well. And the last, we'll get to know the individuals well. So the first one, this is a question I'm going to open up the floor, and we'll follow the same format. Ganesh, Payal, Karishma, and Purnima. So getting started with you, Ganesh, could all of you tell a little bit about your institution? When was it established? What are some of the unique features about your rules? And how is the secretariat formation? If you can give a little bit background about the institution and introduce the institution to our viewers.
Okay, thanks, Mayuri. See, India International Arbitration Center, the acronym is IIAC. There are quite a lot of institutions here. NPAC, of course, starts with the N, but the other two institutions, Indian Council of Arbitration, is ICA, and IAMC is International Arbitration Mediation Center. So these are different institutions. But one thing, since Mayuri, I mean, you started off saying it's all domestic. Of course, we are based in India, but I think all these institutions also have international arbitration work seated in India. And the hope is, in due course, we will have these institutions have arbitration seated outside India as well, with these rules to be adopted. Now, moving back to IIAC, which I'm representing today, India International Arbitration Center, it's perhaps the only arbitral institution in the world which came into existence by way of an act of parliament. In fact, the Indian Parliament enacted the New Delhi International Arbitration Center Act in 2019. It was earlier called the NDIAC, New Delhi International Arbitration Center. And this was rechristened last year in 2023. It was renamed as the India International Arbitration Center for two reasons. One, the all India character of this institution, so they didn't want to restrict it to Delhi, though the headquarters is right now in Delhi. Then they renamed it as the India International Arbitration Center. The second reason is also not to confuse it with the Delhi International Arbitration Center, which is part of the Delhi High Court. It's in the Delhi High Court. We have a very good institution there as well, the BIAC. So therefore, we thought it fit that they should be renamed as the India International Arbitration Center. And so the act is now called the India International Arbitration Center Act of 2019. Though the act was, enacted a few years back, I mean, it was not until 2022 that this act was notified. In the December of 2022, almost a year and a half back, it was when this institution really they appointed the chairperson and members who could run this institution. The chairperson is a retired Supreme Court Judge, Honorable Justice Hemant Gupta is chairperson of this organization. And we have two part-time members. One is myself, and the other is Mr. Anand Palli, who's a counsel in Delhi, senior advocate. And then the law secretary, union law secretary, is the ex officio member. And you have one member from the commercial world. You have Mr. Ajay Sahai, who's the Director General and CEO of the Federation of Indian Export Organization, who is one of the members. And you also have somebody from the finance department. So this is an organization which is established by an act of parliament. In fact, the act declares it as an institution of national importance. So that's the purpose of this, the way this institution has been brought about, to make it an umbrella institution for the country, and also, to work as the premier arbitral institution in India. Of course, there are other institutions as well, but this is government supported. But what should not, many people think when it is an act of parliament or when the government supports this initiative, they immediately think, hey, this is, how independent this institution would be. I think the whole idea is, when the government came up with this idea, is to give you this kind of a facility and space and the infrastructure and provide you with this excellent group of people and a secretariat. But in due course, the whole idea is for this institution to hopefully be self-sufficient at some point in time. So there is government support, but I don't think there is absolutely no interference in the way this organization functions. In fact, if you think, in India, all the courts are established by the government of India. I mean, the judges are paid by the government, but they are all extremely independent. There's something like that, but in the arbitration space, of course, mediation is also there as per the act, but now the center is focusing mainly on arbitration. We have a premises at the moment in Delhi, in Vasant Kunj. There's a very big premises which is a little old. I mean, the idea is either this will be refurbished and it's been just a year and a half. There is a full-fledged secretariat with the registrar, deputy registrar, two counsel, and there are a lot of it's staffed with office assistants and stenographers and all that. And I'm happy to inform you that within a year, we've got about 15 cases. The center has got about 15 cases.
That's wonderful.
These are obviously, initially, as you know, Mayuri, it takes a while for people to incorporate the arbitration clause into the contract and for disputes to arise. And all these cases have been court referred, where the arbitrator has been appointed by the courts, mostly Delhi High Court. And I think once recently there was a Supreme Court matter. And these have been referred to the center, where the center will manage and administer these arbitration. So there is a physical presence. Then they're also looking at expanding. So it is a lot of work in progress. And I think, in terms of the other, do you also want to address the arbitration panel? Will be the next question, right? I just tell you what the institution is all about at the moment. And, you should look up the website. India International Arbitration Center, you'll find further details about the center.
Wonderful. That was very informative. Thanks a lot, Ganesh. Payal, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So the Nani Palkiwala Arbitration Center, it was established in 2005 to honor the legacy of the eminent jurist, Mr. Nani Palkiwala.
The founding members are Mr. Arvind Dattar and Mr. N.L. Raja, and they had envisioned the NPAC as a pioneering institution for arbitration. The interesting thing is it's a not-for-profit organization that operates with the full recognition of the Madras High Court, and none of the directors take any sitting fees for their services. The NPAC is also guided by a highly distinguished governing council, which includes notable figures such as Mr. Justice M.N. Venkatachalaya, who's the former Chief Justice of India, Mr. K.K. Venugopal, who's the former Attorney General of India, Mr. Iqbal Chagla, Mr. T.S. Krishnamurthy, Mr. Justice A.P. Shah, and several others. The center is also supported by a full-time registrar, Dr. Durga Lakshmi, and the board of directors have the financial oversight on the NPAC. The center is physically headquartered in Chennai and offers a state-of-the-art facilities for arbitration, including halls which are equipped with Wi-Fi, projectors, video conferencing capabilities, transcription services, and high-capacity printers. It also has a team of dedicated personnel which are available to ensure the seamless operations of the center. And interestingly, it has it also provides catering services. It has an in-house pantry. And I must just tell you that we have successfully completed 23 institutional arbitrations. The 24th one is currently going on. And in terms of ad hoc arbitration, the center has handled about 1,000 cases.
Oh, that's a lot. Wonderful. That's very interesting, Payal. Do you want to go next, Karishma? Tell us a little bit more about the institution.
Yes, of course. So the Indian Council of Arbitration is an institution that was co-founded by FICCI and the Government of India 60 years ago nearly. It will be 60 years next year. And therefore, it has had the privilege and I would say great honor of administering 3,800 arbitrations in the domestic arbitration space, plus another 350 arbitrations in the maritime arbitration space, and another 45 international commercial arbitrations. So this institution has been solidly working alongside industry, and on an annual basis, it administers disputes approximately leading to 4,000 crore Indian rupees in dispute, that is 470 million USD in dispute. So hopefully that speaks about the reliability of this institution. I particularly like one feature, which is its democracy in its governance board and governing board. So the board members are not just appointed, they are elected members. And of course, the ICA has a very large membership of individuals, I think, which is in excess of, it's just crossed 7,000. So all of the 7,000 can vote for their governing council, for a part of their governing council. And the governing council consists of lawyers, of course, but also people from government. So we have bureaucrats, we have individuals from PSUs, and we also have individuals from chambers of commerce, such as FICCI and other chambers of commerce, plus retired judges. So that is, a pretty solid panel of the governing body that administers its rules. I think one of the USPs really of the Indian Council of Arbitration is that it's pretty swift in amending its rules. Unlike many other institutions that amend its rules, let's say every 2 to 3 years, or perhaps a little bit longer, the ICA, every time it has a governing board meeting, is allowed to, and when necessary, does amend its rules. For example, introducing the summary judgment, emergency arbitrations, and other such rules. But I think that's the next question Mayuri will tell me. So I should move on from there. In terms of facilities,
Karishma, if I can ask you, given the caseload that you just mentioned, if I can come in here, how big is the secretariat and how is it structured?
the secretariat is about 30 plus people, and it has a separate international advisory committee of 6 people. And the 30 plus includes all of these members. So from government, law firms, judges, chambers of commerce, and the industry as well.
Right. So it has a very active secretariat administering these cases.
So the case managers are 4, if that was your question.
Yeah,
So
that's my
got-
question. When I refer to a secretariat, I don't mean the body of governing the institution, more the case manager. How is the case managers? What's the structure in terms of does it have a registrar, a deputy registrar? Does it have certain case managers? How is that structured?
Right. So it's got the director general, then it's got its registrar, and it's got 4 case managers. The oldest case manager has been with the ICA for 38 years, which we are very proud of. And I think they understand that arbitrators are of different age groups, and therefore they also cater to different manners in which to communicate. So whether if somebody prefers email versus WhatsApp versus a call, depending on what age group or category of arbitrators you fit within, they're hands-on across all of these 3 methods of communication. As far as the premises are concerned, there are 10 all over India because the FICCI offices in all of these urban cities, whether it's Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Ahmedabad, Chennai, etc., all of them have an ICA conference room where arbitrations can be conducted. And the last thing is that its rules are divided into 3 different ones. So it's got rules for domestic Indian arbitrations, international arbitrations, and also maritime. And I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is the only institution which has maritime rules which are separate from the others, with an MOU with WIPO.
Yeah.
So
There are other institutions. I think there's one
I stand corrected. Yeah.
In Gujarat, which is specific to maritime. But let's quickly get to Purnima. Purnima, can you tell us a little bit more about your institution and what are the unique features and what's the caseload looking like?
Thanks. So the institution that I'm representing is the International Arbitration and Mediation Center, IAMC. Based in Hyderabad. It was established in 2021. And when you talk about the uniqueness, I would say it's as unique as every COVID baby that we see. We hear about how they came in tough times. Well, this center also came around the same time. And the uniqueness is that this center understands the need of the hour and, is ensuring that the international flavor of arbitration and mediation and the manner in which the expectations of the international, audience, which India is trying to cater to, as was rightly mentioned by Ganesh, is very understood and taken into its procedures, etc. And the rules offered by IAMC are very flexible. They are catering to the international market and trying very hard to bring in more international matters into Hyderabad, which in fact is a city which is catering to a lot of international organizations already. So one such example, of course, as Karishma also talked about it, is the emergency arbitration, giving making sure that all these new thought processes are brought into the rules. The kind of cases that are being done are, very interesting also. In the short period of 4 years, or almost 4 years, in fact, a very big international arbitration has been successfully resolved, and not arbitration, mediation, and the amount was about $20 million. And apart from that, of course, in this short span, there are about 53 mediation cases which have been done and 15 arbitration cases. But I don't want to talk too much about this only. I want to even mention the uniqueness of the entire institution. The uniqueness.
So we'll come to uniqueness in my next, in the next segment.
Just to answer one more question that you had asked was the structure.
Yes.
Our board of trustees actually bring in the uniqueness, and of course our registrar, Mr. Tariq Khan. So the trustees are a mix of, the ex-Supreme Court judges, former Supreme Court judges. We have the Chief Justice of High Court of the state of Telangana. We have the Law Minister of the state of Telangana. So you can see how this institution is an institution backed by and supported by the government. It is supported, it has active participation of the judiciary. And of course, you have the secretariat. It consists of associate counsels, senior associate counsels, etc. So, we have a very good IT department. We've got supporting staff and account holders. So it's a very, very vibrant institution, bringing in thought from every aspect, and being a not-for-profit entity with the kind of board of trustees that we have, it's very, very neutral. There can be no question about, the manner in which it is functioning, no scope for biases, etc. So in that sense, this is a very, very good offering in terms of an institution for arbitration and mediation.
Wonderful. That's very interesting. And Purnima, when I'm coming to my second segment of unique features, I'm diving right into it. And to each institution has a set of common rules, the way they appoint their arbitrators, the way the fee structure works. Most of them tend to have similar rules in respect of that. But each institutional rules has some kind of uniqueness. Let's speak about MCIA. I'm going to take MCIA as an example because they are the ones who have sort of brought us together here. MCIA, when it came about, I think one of the most unique features of MCIA is it sort of makes sure that it looks at the constitution of the tribunal very closely and ensures that there won't be two retired judges on the panel. So to that extent, you can nominate, but the final authority for appointment lies with the MCI. That's a very unique feature, very catered to domestic, cater to some of the concerns that we have of domestic arbitration in India, right? So that's one of the unique features. If I can request all of you to tell our audience a little bit more about the unique features of your respective rules. And Purnima, in this aspect, I'd like you to specifically focus on the mediation aspects of your institution. So over to you, Ganesh, if you can.
The India International Arbitration Center has come up with a set of rules. For some reason, the rules are called regulations because the Act says so. So we have an India International Arbitration Center Conduct of Arbitration Regulations that was enacted last year. And these are the regulations that we follow for conduct of arbitration. There is also a separate set of regulations that was notified this year for MSME, medium small enterprises. There's a separate set of arbitration rules for conduct of arbitration for these kind of arbitrations. So there are two sets of rules. But of course, the IIAC conduct of arbitration regulations are the main regulations, which has a lot of unique features. As you rightly said, Mayuri, there are a lot of features which are similar to all institutions, be it Indian Council of Arbitration or Nani Palkhiwala Center by IAMC, and be it MCIA, IIAC, and in fact, even the Gujarat Maritime International Arbitration Center that we perhaps refer to as the Maritime Institution, GMAC. All of them have similar features. Everybody has emergency arbitrators, expedited procedure. Of course, we call it the fast track procedure under the IAAC regulations because we wanted to have the similar wording like the Arbitration Act, where under 29B we have a fast track procedure. And the whole idea is to have an efficient and time-bound process. That's very important. As I told you, fast track emergency arbitrators, let me not go into it because we are running against time here. But one unique feature of our rules is appointment of arbitrators. In appointment of arbitrators, while the chairperson appoints the arbitrator, he is advised by an advisory panel consisting of at least 3 to 10 members. And this advisory panel would advise the chairperson each time he's asked to make an appointment. Of course, the final discretion is of the chairperson to make an appointment, but they look at the case, they look at the candidates, ensure the arbitrator is qualified to take that particular case, look at the stakes involved, and look at the experience of a particular candidate from the panel. Of course, the panel is your next question. I'll not get into it at the moment. So this is a very unique feature. It's not just one person just goes and appoints, because we don't have something like a court of arbitration yet, like the ICC or the SIAC. But here we have something called an advisory panel. And I think that's extremely important so that, it's not just one or two, but it's a group of people who advise the chairperson, but the chairperson, of course, in his wisdom, can appoint somebody from the panel itself of who is recommended, or in very certain circumstances when you want an arbitrator who is perhaps not on the panel, you can also go beyond the panel. That can also be done. But The panel of arbitrators is there. And a fee structure is also very, it's not unique again, it's very similar to other institutions where you have an ad valorem fee. We have a separate fee structure for domestic arbitration seated in India and a separate fee structure for international arbitration. The fee structure for domestic arbitration is in Indian rupees, and for international arbitration, it's given in American dollars or the equivalent of that in Indian rupees. So we have two sets of fees and also a separate set of fee for emergency arbitration, arbitrator. And we also have just for appointment of arbitrator. If you want to come to IAAC just for example, an arbitral rules case, where they appoint IAAC, let's say the appointing authority, the fee is extremely, nominal, where you just appoint the arbitrator. So these are some of the unique features, I would say, of the IAAC conduct of arbitration regulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ganesh. Oh, I'm conscious of the time, so if I can just request everybody to restrict their answer to about 1.5 minutes so that we can then move to the next segment. Payal, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So I'll keep it very short. But the way I look at it, the proof of the pudding is in its eating. And I want to just point out that the NPAC has completed all its arbitrations, with the exception of one, within a time frame of 10 months and 2 months for writing the award. And that the one that I mentioned, which was the exception, was on account of COVID-19. We have provisions for an emergency arbitrator for experts to lead evidence. They promote, the center promotes mediation in all cases. The fee structure is fairly modest. And we have an exceptional panel of arbitrators that they're persons of eminence from the bar, from commercial organizations, education, trade and industry, CAs, as well as engineers. So, in that respect, I think the NPAC has already proved how well it's done on all its arbitrations. Mayuri, I'm not able to hear you. Yeah.
Karishma, could you go next and tell us a little bit about unique features of the ICA?
Yes, thank you. I think as an arbitrator, having sat as an arbitrator, one of the things that I feel really supported by the ICA is unwritten, and that is the fact that they only start contacting arbitrators and making appointments once a couple of rounds of pleading have already been in place and filed. I think that's a very sensible manner in which to conduct the arbitration. It makes it efficient for parties as well as for the arbitrator. Like with the other institutions, we also have rules for emergency arbitrations, summary judgments now, which is just going through the English courts, I should say, in the new English Arbitration Act. Summary judgments will be allowed. And consolidation. So that is quite useful because FICCI has, small and big members, and where disputes are of extremely small sort of financial value, it helps to have a feature that and a rule that consolidates and allows the consolidation of arbitration. And the last thing is WIPO. So for intellectual property right disputes that are arbitrable, to the extent that they are arbitrable, there is a tie-up with WIPO in place, and arbitrators with an intellectual property background are appointed in those arbitrations.
Okay, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. I wasn't aware of that. Thanks for that. Purnima, can you come in quickly and tell us a little bit about the unique features of the institution?
So, Mayuri, as you said, you want me to speak about mediation. There's a lot that's happening in arbitration as well, but I'll restrict myself to mediation. First thing is the institution really focuses on having very well-trained mediators and also brings in international trainers wherever needed. So there are very good, collaborations that the institute, and in particular, Mr. Tariq Khan, who's our registrar, makes an extra effort to ensure that the best of trainers actually come to the institute and train good mediators. The panel then draws upon this very resource, including other qualified and expert mediators. And therefore, the quality is assured because these mediators have been trained by the best. So first is the pool that is there as mediators. Second is the mediation, the experience in mediation. There have been about 53 mediations. The success rate is about 69%. The kind of matters which has been done, the mediation has been very well understood by the entire institution. The procedures, etc., well targeted to expedite it within and complete it within 60 days. A matter mediation to be completed within 60 days is the effort, and the manner in which they progress. The mediators, the kind of processes that are there, are sometimes tailor-made to the need of the different sectors. So there are MOUs with the RERA or the Telangana police with respect to divorce cases, international divorce cases. So there are tailor-made processes for these nuanced areas which not all people are aware of. So the mediators have the expertise. The processes are directed towards the expedited resolution, or at least not resolution, expedited completion of the process, and of course with a pool that has been trained by the best. Therefore the assurance is there as well. So I'll quickly cap it with that. And similarly for arbitration, flexible rules, up to date as to what's happening globally, trained mediators, and a very, very good fee structure.
Thanks a lot, Purnima. So we've run out of time. I won't be going into my last question in respect of empanelment and how to get yourself empaneled. I request all participants who are interested in that to reach out to the respective representatives here if you need further information on that. I'll end by saying last one word. I'm opening this question up and I want one word answer from all of you. This is like the fun segment. I would rather be in the India ADR week than dash. I would be in the India ADR week than or dash. So do you want to go first, Ganesh? You would rather be in the India ADR week or?
No, sorry, I didn't get you. I didn't hear you. Sorry, go ahead.
I said this is the last fun segment. You would rather be at the India ADR week than dash.
Okay, I would rather be at the India ADR week than filling my timesheets.
Superb. Karishma?
I'd rather be at the India ADR week than with the rest of the barristers on court vacation in the south of France.
Okay, Payal.
I'd rather be at the India ADR week than with my head in my books and files and drafting.
Purnima. Purnima, you're on mute.
Yes, I'd rather be at the India ADR week than all of the things that have been said before, because it's common to all of us.
Common to all of us. Okay, thanks a lot, everybody. The future of arbitration in India looks bright. And I would like to thank so many participants. We had over 160 participants at some point for taking their time and joining us. And thank you, Ganesh, Karishma, Payal, and Purnima for this lovely insight. I definitely got to learn more. And thank you, Neeti, Charvi, and MCI for bringing us all together. So thanks a lot.
One thing before we finish, there's, I think Karishma leads something called Arbitral Women. And today you see the panel here. I'm the only thorn between all these roses. So there's a lot of great.
I wanted to get to that in the third segment, but we couldn't. But yes, thank you for pointing that out, Ganesh. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mayuri, for moderating this, and thank you to the MCIA.
Thank you. Should we just take a quick photo? If Charvi, if you can come on, or Neeti, whoever is there, and we can take a quick screenshot of this session. Anybody from MCI? Okay, not really. Okay, sure. So we're going to...
I've taken a pic. I'll send it to you guys.
Super.
Okay, thank you, Ganesh.
Thank you, Mayuri. And just to add, ladies who want to be arbitrators, now you know where you need to go. So who to contact.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.